5 seconds to take a throw in, or it goes to the opposition. 5 seconds for a goal kick, or you concede a corner. And covering your mouth during an argument, that's a straight red card. FIFA is launching a brutal crackdown on time wasting and player misconduct in this World Cup, and it is going to cause absolute chaos, and we're all for it. Let's break down the brand new rules. Welcome back to FUT IN Review World Cup Daily, episode 2. Only a few days left until kickoff. My name is John, and today I'm joined by Neil. Welcome, Neil.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be on. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. I'll introduce you in a moment. And I'm joined by Mr. Blue himself. It's Graeme. Graeme, welcome.
Thanks for having me back on. Welcome, everybody, to the new show.
Yeah, welcome back, I say, but welcome to this new show. We will be here for you every single day of this World Cup. And if you, of course, are a Patreon supporter, this show will be available almost a second after we finish recording. Of course, we'll have to edit a little bit, but then you get it already. And on top of that, if you are a Patreon supporter, you get to join our prediction league and the World Cup sweeps and win some nice prizes. And of course, links to the Patreon is in the show notes. Last episode, we looked at the favorites and the dark horses. Today, we are getting into the actual pitch. Collina and the FIFA refereeing committee have pushed through a set of brand new rules that completely rewrite how the game is officiated. If you don't know these rules, you are going to be incredibly confused from day one. So let's get to it. Graeme, for the people that don't know you, before we start taking deep dive into the rules, can you introduce yourself to the new people listening?
My name is Graeme, or Homer in the Discord. Originally from Scotland, live in Northern Ireland, massive Rangers fan. And that's pretty much it. Love Italian football more than pretty much any other football as well.
And that's a good thing to know, because we'll definitely take a deep dive into the Italian squad soon enough. And joining us is Neil. Neil, welcome. Let's say a little bit hi and who you are towards the new people.
Hello, everybody. My name's Neil, or known as Bullseye on the Discord, for my apparently dart-throwing ability. There's a myth in that, I'm still sure. I'm the same. Adamant FIFA player, love the FIFA pod. My football knowledge in modern-day football, I'm going to be well-tested, I'll tell you in the next few pods. I'm still living 20 years in the past when it comes to football knowledge, but I'll give it my best.
It's gonna be good. Graeme, did you see these new rules coming up? Actually, did you expect them?
We knew that they were talking about introducing some new things, but what they've introduced, I wasn't expecting a few of it. So interesting changes, but should make the game better, hopefully.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's just start with the single biggest frustration in modern football time, at least for me. That is definitely time wasting. And FIFA has officially run out of patience. And we are also running out of patience with the FIFA, but that's a different story. And they have introduced literal countdowns on the pitch. It starts to feel a little bit more like the NBA, for example. I think the referee is going to be watching the clock like a hawk, or we need a new clock master VAR soon, but we'll see how that goes. Shall I just go through the rules, lay it on you guys, and you guys discuss?
Why not?
All right. So rule number 1 is the 5-second throw-in countdown. If a player delays or deliberately delays restarting play from a throw-in, the referee starts counting. And if you hit 5 seconds, the throw-in is flipped and awarded to the opposition. This is basically what has happened with goal kicks now as well, right, Graeme?
Yep, both the goal kicks and the throw-ins have a 5-second timer now. I think 5 seconds is maybe too short of a time. I'd maybe would start with 10, seeing how that went, then cut it down to 5. Just because obviously once you get the ball, you've got to get into where the throw-ins might be taken. Then throw-ins are part of set pieces now, so everybody's got to be in position and ready. So I reckon a few people might fall short of 5 seconds. From time wasting point of view, though, it should be a good thing. Time wasting is a scourge. It's annoying when somebody gets a throw in and they're like, move to the position, rub the ball in their shirt or a towel, and then throw it to the next guy who does the same thing, and then he'll go forward about 5 yards, then he's told to go back the 5 yards, then he'll try again, and it becomes that whole pantomime circus of just try to get the ball thrown in from the right place. So I think it's a good idea. I still think 5 seconds might catch some people out. 10 seconds might have been a good starting place, but
Yeah, I saw some comments going on this week saying that they would not like throw-ins to be seen as like free kicks, basically, and therefore 5 seconds will only allow the player that's close to the ball to actually do the throw-in. It's just to resume play. In reality, that could be the thing they're going for, but it's not a set rule that player has to do it. I guess this is one of those rules where I am on par with you. I kind of like the idea, but it could be really awkward. What about you, Neil?
I don't know. Was it the last World Cup where they decided they started adding on crazy amounts of injury time, didn't they? Like at half time, 10 minutes at first half, 10 minutes in the second half. That took a bit of time to get used to. So I'm assuming that is to sort of counter that and bring the stoppage time back down a bit. I mean, I personally don't really have a problem with the way the game's majorly played. I have a problem with people completely wasting time and take like the way people approach the game. But things like throw-ins, corners, and stuff, teams take a bit of time to set up and do it. So it's interesting to see how it's going to go. If the referees are going to be really strict with it, or the players going to get on board with it straight away. I can imagine. Nobody really wants to watch games with 20 bookings in a game either, do they, for stuff? And could the game just be ruined quickly because there's been somebody sent off in the first 10 minutes because of not taking a throw in correctly or something? I don't know. It sounds a bit.
Well, it doesn't say anything about yellow cards for this one. It's just if you don't throw it in within 5 seconds, the other team gets throw in. So I guess.
So it sounds even worse.
Well, it's better than yellow card, I suppose, right?
It's just.
What are they going to do?
It's an extension of the foul throw rule, basically. So if you get 2 attempts to throw a ball in properly, if you do a foul throw, the other team gets it. So it's just an extension of that rule. That if you don't throw it right, you lose the throw in. So if you don't take it right and within the time frame, you lose it. So it's merely an extension.
If it promotes a free flowing element to the game, then great. I fear footballers not being the most intelligent bodies out there might not be able to adapt it very quickly. I don't know.
Well, that's going to be the thing. How much adapt? I got a cool example about a different rule that's been implemented in this rules change set, and that was very much penalized this week when a friendly between, I think, Japan and Iceland. We'll talk about that in a moment, but people will definitely need to get used to it, but it did have some good effects in that one. The second rule is sort of the same, but this time we already had the rule where a keeper can only hold the ball in his hands for 5 seconds or 6 seconds, I think. This new rule says it's a 5-second goal kick countdown. Don't say that 10 times out loud, but it's a goal kick countdown. And so if a goalkeeper tries to run down the clock by stalling over a goal kick, the referee won't just book him. They will award a corner now for the opposing team. So imagine this, your team is 1-0 up, and in the 92nd minute, your keeper hesitates for 6 seconds, and suddenly the ref points to the corner flag. Neil, I see your eyebrows moving when thinking about this one.
Nah, could be. I genuinely can't imagine it. So I think for me anyway, it's going to be a case of watch it and see what's going to come of it. But I just can't. I can't even imagine it. It just sounds. I don't know. It's out
Graeme,
there. Don't get me wrong. It's good that they're coming up with these ideas, but.
Graeme, will people have referees to have the guts to blow in a massive game, or this will just be completely inconsistent? You expect?
That's the big thing. Will the referees have the consistency or the fortitude to stick to it? I think it's a bit severe given a corner, but like, what else can you do? But maybe an indirect free kick, then you're really punishing a team for that. Let's say, same with the throw-ins. I get where they're trying to clamp down on the whole time wasting, getting the ball back into play and getting the game played. So, like, it will stop the keepers that go, I'll kick it from the left and then I'll go back, I'll clatter my boots off the post to clear the dirt off my studs, and then they go, I know, I need to take it from the right side actually, repeat the feet, arms up, shout somebody to move this way. So hopefully it speeds the game up. But it's one of the things. Sounds good in theory. Practice will be another matter. It could end up in absolute chaos. So I don't know.
Talking about chaos, the next one is going to be absolutely massive. And that's the one I saw happening this week already in the friendly match. It's a 10-second substitution rule. So when a player's number goes up, you got exactly 10 seconds to leave the field at the nearest boundary line. And we already had the rule, you have to go out to the boundary line, but not exactly everyone would take that rule in. But if you slant or drag your feet to waste time, the substitution cannot enter the pitch for at least 1 minute at the next stoppage. So your team is forced to play with 10 men for a full minute if you are not fast enough. We did the maths just to make sure. Even if you're at the center of the pitch, that's 35 meters, you got to go in 10 seconds. If you're a pro athlete, that should be easy manageable. And to make sure I said that with a very confident heart. I did try that this morning, and even I could make it. So it is very much doable. Neil, what do you think? 10 seconds? Are we going to do the countdown in the full stadiums when people go substitution out?
Given the World Cup is in America, Canada, they might probably be
and
surprised.
And not full stadiums, fair enough.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing countdowns on the big screen or something like that. But the way it's sounding, the way it's going, they'll try and Americanise it all by the sounds of it. It's not required, is it really? Let's be frank about it.
Why do they don't think it's required?
Players are entitled to a bit of a rest in the pitch. They shouldn't be expected to run 90 minutes full stop and not stop for a breather. If we're going to make a substitution, just add the minute on at the end. We've done that for so many years. I don't see the issue. Maybe that's just me being a party pooper. I don't know.
No, I think it could be a fair point. Graeme, is taking the extra time from a substitution that it takes at the end not a better rule for this, or is this a combination of?
Well, they've tried that though, haven't they? That if a throw in, a substitution takes too long, they add the time to the end of the game. And it's clearly, like you said, they added the rule of you have to leave from the nearest point of the field and walk round. And it's still being sort of navigated by teams. They'll still try and do anything to steal a couple of seconds to slow down the game if they're winning. So they've tried to be fair and give teams and players ways of keeping the game flowing without them wasting time, and it's not really worked. So they went now down this way of further punishment. So it is a bit harsh that you lose a player for a minute if your player won't come off within 10 seconds. But if you don't follow the rules, there should be some sort of punishment. Like, you can't just be rewarded for trying to ruin the game for everybody else. So again, I think it's another one where it'll be interesting to see who's going to be the first ref to really step up and be the guy that goes, right, I'm going to punish you a minute now, because that will come with a lot of kickback. Players,
I think they all will do it. Like from minute one, every referee that goes to the World Cup has been thoroughly briefed on these new rules, and that they have to make sure they take accountability for it and implement them, else they won't be refereeing for much further in the tournament.
Yeah, they should, but if it's like the 89th minute and the team's getting beat 4-0, are you really going to be that harsh on them and go, 10 seconds to get off here, or I'm going to stop this guy coming on for a whole minute when the game's dead? Like, I can see some circumstances where it might not go as what's written as per the rules, but like I said, that whole time cheating, like, we'll sub the guy that's at the furthest side of the pitch, so he takes like 30 seconds to get off the pitch when he stumbles across the whole field. So it should, in theory, have a benefit for us as the viewing audience. But I think a whole minute is a bit of a harsh penalty. But
Yeah, so this happened this week when Japan played Iceland for the friendly. Iceland substituted in the 92nd minute, 90 minutes, something like that. No, it wasn't. No, I'm lying here. 84th minute, I think. 84th minute, they took a substitution and the player took long to be subbed off. So that means Japan was actually, the player still had to go off. Japan was with one man extra in for a whole minute, and they actually scored from that. So it sort of gave a good example how punishing this can be. And to be fair, there is, like, if you're close to the pitch, you can just step over the sideline and you're still out, right? Mm-hmm. So there should be plenty of time to do it. But I think the biggest rule why Neil's extra time set doesn't do it all currently has to do with tactical changes or managers taking the time during a substitution to put things better into place. And I'm faulty at that as well, because what I do is I take one player out and tell him to take his time, maybe even get a yellow card, where I don't care too much. But if that allows me to talk to my 3 center defenders to get their head back on straight, that's going to be, so I call them in, say to them, be informed, etc., etc. But you can't do that if you just have 10 seconds anyways. So you take care of that as well. I think that's an added benefit for FIFA and a tactical disadvantage. But we see that happen this week as well on the Champions League final. You take a player out and the manager starts talking to other players during that time they walk off. And that's gone now as well.
I said, I get where they're coming from. I like anything that tries to speed up a game, gives us more, like I said, as the viewing audience, more football to watch, because that's what we're obviously there for, not for time wasting or the dark arts. But I still think a whole minute is a bit harsh, but we'll have to wait and see. Like you said, Japan and Iceland game was the perfect example where you get a double jeopardy, basically. You're disadvantaged by being a man down and a goal down within that minute. So, but then if it's, like I said, if it stops technically what the dark arts, the cheating, then it should be a good thing. So we just need to see how it goes.
Yeah. Another similar rule is the 1 minute off-field treatment rule. We don't have to discuss that in depth. But basically, if a physio comes on the pitch to treat a player, that player must remain off the field for a full 60 seconds as well before being allowed back on. There are 0 exceptions unless if it's a goalkeeper or, and this is an important hiatus, if the opponent was booked for the fall. So the dying Swan act in stoppage time is now officially dead. But if you actually got injured by a player that gives you a kick and he gets a yellow card, for example, then it's fine. You can go off and you can come back in immediately as well. I think that's a golden addition, because when I first got told these rules, someone says, like, if you now get injured, you can't go on, then I read the rule. No, that's not true. It's an important thing to note there. Neil, is anything you want to highlight or pay extra attention to, or is it just fine?
No, that I can understand. I can understand more in that one than any other ones. If somebody's going to try and fake an injury, then they'll be punished for it. If they're getting taken off for a minute, I'd imagine the fans or their teammates won't be too displeased if they're trying to feign injury and then punishes them for it when they're a man down for a minute when they're needed on the pitch. So that's a good one. I can get on board with that.
Cool. Graeme, what if a player is generally hurt but physically can't sprint off the pitch in 10 seconds? Is the team going to be unfairly punished with 10 men just for having an injured player? Or you think a referee would be like, okay, this makes sense, let it go. That's the only one I could see happening, which doesn't make much sense.
But then if they're taken off for the whole minute because they're hurt, should they really gone back on? But
they can't go off the pitch in 10 seconds because they are hurt.
Yeah, well, then,
so the first rule then goes into line. They play with 10 men because he couldn't get off in 10 seconds.
But then, like I said, if you're hurt, you should be, and you're coming off, you should be close enough to get straight off. Like, it should be then in your mind thinking, well, if I'm not on the ball here, my teammates are going to be punished. So there should be a bit of smartness going on where you go, like, say if it's a centre back, then they say to the right back or a centre mid, you drop in, cover me, and I'll stay further out here so that as soon as I can get off for a sub, then I'm off the pitch and we can get somebody else on and the team can continue at full strength. So I said there's a lot of positives, but there is a few negatives that come with all these changes. And I think it, like Neil pointed on, you as a teammate, you would be really annoyed if you're winning 1-0. It's the last couple of minutes and somebody's lax or slow cost you a whole minute without another teammate on the pitch when you're trying to battle to win. Say it's like the semi-final, you would be livid. So you would expect your teammates will switch on a little bit. They'll be a bit smarter and they will be like off the pitch within 10 seconds. Like, come on.
It's true though, but now everyone is like trained to take their time going off when they are in the lead. Now they got to rush off. So I can see some mistakes happening there where maybe they're still in their old habits. But I agree, this could be a tremendous update for the rules and for the pace. It could be much more fun to watch because honestly, the Champions League final was a good example of some of the poor things I see every week in football, honestly. So I think there's plenty of examples from that don't work anymore. The rule that's already causing the most controversy online, though, players covering their mouth. Neil, you can't cover your mouth during a podcast, but we see it constantly on the pitch. Players putting their hands or shirts, he's covering their mouth now, over their mouths during an argument to hide what they're saying from cameras and lip readers. And that stopped now. Because if a player sees a player cover their mouth in a confrontational situation with an opponent and determines it's to conceal abuse of discriminatory language, it's a straight red card. Collina actually said, if it's a friendly chat, go ahead. In a confrontation, hiding your mouth means you have something terrible to hide. And this was pushed through after a massive incident in the Champions League between Prestiana and Vinicius Jr. Whoa, Graeme, this is... I think this is really good. And I don't see much exceptions. I think what Collina says here might be right. Or am I missing something?
Oh, it's a good change. To be honest, I don't think you should be covering your mouth in any instance, whether it's friendly or not friendly. If you're not saying anything that's anything other than pleasantry or informative to anybody on the pitch, why do you need to cover your mouth? But I know somebody will say, oh, but what if you're trying to pass on a tactical instruction? Like, most teams have code words, and the code words are known. So nobody shout. You're not allowed to shout, "Oh, it's mine!" If the ball's in the coming, every team has a code word, and everybody knows that code word because once you hear it once or twice in the game, you know exactly what it is. So I don't think there's any need or any reason for you to cover your mouth. So I think it could be extended to any situation where you cover your mouth, but when it's a controversial flip moment like the one in the Champions League, yeah, send them off because like why are they hiding their mouth other than to be something negative in the game? So a good change.
Fair enough. Neil, last one is for you, my friend. The last big change is second yellow cards can now be reviewed. So previously, a VAR could only look at direct red cards. If you got a second yellow for a dive or soft challenge or send off, and VAR couldn't help you. Now, if the second booking is clear and an obvious error, VAR can overturn it. To be clear, they won't check if someone should have received the yellow card, only if a given second yellow was wrong. Does this make the game fair, or is it just going to slow down the match even more for
you? I think VAR should review yellows, personally, because there's a lot of rubbish yellows, especially if you make a booking if you make a challenge in the first 5 minutes and you get a very harsh yellow card for it, that's you for the rest of the game, you're in trouble. So I think VAR should... It depends how quickly these guys can review it. I mean, some of these VAR stuff can take ages, some can take really quick, but I'd imagine they're looking at it and say, it's a booking. Nah, it's not a booking. I think they should just review all cards, personally. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. I think second yellow especially has too much of an impact on the game, right?
Yeah, because the second yellow, people are trying to get you sent off, aren't they? And players know
that. Exactly. Now, I honestly, my opinion, I would love to have everyone else's opinion in the comments below this episode or on YouTube or on socials. I think most of these are from a good point of view. It all has to do with implementation. And my biggest concern is that it actually works like we've seen before with World Championships, having new rules, but they won't be implemented in competitions or implemented differently across leagues after World Cup, which is even more annoying. So, but let's come back during this topic during the rest of the weeks of football in the next couple of days and weeks. There are lots of weeks, but you get what I mean there. But before you go, because this was episode 2, you now know the rules of this tournament before anyone else in your group chat does. So use that power wisely. Before you go, follow us on Instagram at FUT IN Review and on TikTok at FUT IN Review Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review on your podcast app right now. It takes about 10 seconds and it generally helps us reach more people. Send this episode to that one mate who's definitely going to lose their mind while the keeper concedes a corner from time wasting. And if you want to show this exact second after we finish recording, become a Patreon supporter. The link is right there in the show notes. So, episode 3 is coming up next. We will talk about a total footballing disaster. The collapse of Italy. 4-time world champions, but missing their 3rd tournament in a row. See you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.